Hi, Charles. Hey, I'm glad you came in today. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Charles?
Well, I've had a little bit of sales experience, several different jobs over the years at Terminex, sold termite treatments, was at Fidelity Investments, did a little bit of sales with them, touched on insurance, looked at insurance a while back with a couple of companies selling individual medical, but just that whole 1099 straight commission kind of scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
Having to pay for the tests and all that.
Absolutely. Okay. When I look at your resume, Charles, you've made a move, 3 times in the last 4 or 5 years or so, some different sales stuff, which is kind of normal seeing in sales. We get that a lot. But let me ask you a question. What has you looking for a new career now than still what you're currently doing?
Well, more than anything, it's just finding that home.
Yeah.
Something that I can enjoy doing, because a lot of things I've worked through in sales is, you do it for the paycheck, but you really don't have that passion. You don't love what you do. And if you're going to sell, you want to be able to do that and enjoy what you do for the long haul.
Okay. Well, is there any common theme between all of the reason you've left, or has it kind of just been a sporadic different?
Well, there are obviously some differences, but I would say the common theme is you feel like you're left out on an island.
Yeah.
You're only as good as what you did for me today.
Yeah.
Not even yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's that, the lack of support, and, no matter how good you did, why couldn't you have done a little bit more?
So if you would have had the support and had that wraparound that you felt like you were more part of it, would you still be at some of these places?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
All right. So let me ask you a question, Charles. If you're looking at your career, right, and everything that you're looking at, like what you're talking about, is there like 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 things that, you go, if I had these part of my career, I would be so happy, because I find that usually, no matter what it is, if you're passionate and happy about it, you love what you do, right?
Right.
So is there anything specific that says, you know what, for Charles has to have this? Obviously, you already said the support and feel like you're part of something.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else that says Charles has to have this, and I know Charles will be happy?
Well, you know what? Getting that rapport back from not selling them and leaving a customer. Not necessarily being a career where I'm always taking care of them, but you get a note or a phone call every so often that what you did for them, whatever you sold them, made a difference.
Okay, so making a difference. Being a part of a team.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. Is there 1 thing, 2 things, maybe 3 things, whatever it is, that if this was part of that next career, you would not be happy and would not want to do it?
The hard sell. Going in and being that, what was it described to me as velvet-coated steel, where you just twist somebody's arm, even if they need it, and it's the best thing for them, to where you push so hard that they have buyer's remorse, or you just feel like you almost need a shower at the end of the day, because you push so hard on people.
Absolutely, I understand. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that again.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Charles. I'll tell you a little bit about me. Obviously, you can tell I'm really old, and I've been doing this for a long time, right?
Absolutely.
Been doing it since I was 9, basically. No, but I come from out in East Texas. Come from a really small town out in East Texas. Grew up. Mom, dad's a preacher. Drove a truck during the week. Mom worked at the cafeteria. And when I was about 18 years old, graduated high school. I went to a couple semesters of junior college, but I really couldn't make it. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was tired. I was broke. So I heard the radio advertisement for selling cars, 100% commission, so I could make as much as I wanted to, right? I was a 19-year-old dumb little kid, and went out there and I started making more money than I've ever made in my life. Where I come from, if you make 10 grand a month, you're the upper end of the income scale. I mean, if you make 2 grand a month, you're the upper end of the income scale. I've never made 10 grand a year at that point, right? And I made about $9,800 my first month. So, needless to say, I love the sales thing. However, kind of like you before, about 6, 7 months into it, I learned the ethics aspect and some of the camaraderie team that you talked about as well. Wasn't there. So I heard about insurance. So I started the senior market, selling individual door-to-door senior citizen stuff. Now, if you think I look young now, you saw me 19 trying to sell senior citizens and stuff, right? That was something to fight for. About my 4th month with Bankers Life and Casualty, I was number 1 agent in the country. Had a lot of struggles there, but it was kind of, I was a part of that environment you talked about you didn't like neither. I was making good money and all that, but they didn't have the team support there. I didn't like that. So I busted off, I started my own insurance agency, doing a lot of health insurance, life, and all of that. Built that agency up to several $million and saw the writing on the wall with medical, so I sold off that block and I made my move and started a scratch agency with Colonial Life in 2009. In about August of 2009, started a scratch agency, and I was lucky enough and fortunate enough that I found a couple really good talent around me. Found some really good sales professionals. We really focused on recruiting, developing, and finding some really strong people, and had some strong leadership around me. That in 2010, we were fortunate enough, we were the top district of the year, number 1 district in the country with Colonial Life. And from there, I was awarded an opportunity to become the territory sales manager in North Florida, South Georgia for Colonial Life. It was pretty interesting because it was a pretty nice deal. At 23 years old, it was the youngest one ever, and go out there and it was next to dead last in the country. And I was able, again, fortunate enough to find, recruit, and develop into the systems that we have, because we really develop a team there in the systems we run, that we were able to go from next to dead last to number 3 in the country within 2 years. Which led me back to here. This is my home. I'm from East Texas. This is where I was a district at, and it's one of the largest markets in the country. And whenever this position came open, Colonial Life awarded me the opportunity to come back home with my family and take over one of the largest markets. And we have the ocean blue to be able to sit here and build, and I couldn't be more pumped about being here in this marketplace. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Colonial Life and what we're looking for, Charles.
Okay.
We're looking for a business-to-business account manager, okay? What they do is go to the business owner and sell the business owner the need of why we need to do what we do, okay? So basically, I'll give you a quick little hit of what a account manager will do with the business owner to get him to do business with us, so you kind of understand what we do. We only work business to business, so you don't have to go to individual stuff. You only work with employers on a professional level, in the team environment, the systems that we have, with the support, with everything behind it, instead of you out there on your own like it was when I started. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what you do is we'll teach you how to set an appointment with the business owner, okay? With our systems, and once you get in front of the business owner, this will basically be kind of what you do. Charles, if you look at this wheel right here, this wheel basically represents all the different individual needs you have as a business owner and different individual needs your employees have, okay? Charles, would you agree that the number 1 thing in your bottom line is wages?
Yeah, I would.
Would you agree that required benefits, FICA taxes, workman's comp would be another thing eating at your bottom line?
Sure.
Now, would you agree that medical insurance is probably the second thing eating at your bottom line?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, now I agree medical is the foundation, but it's like a block of Swiss cheese. There's holes all in it, okay? You know the number 1 cause of bankruptcy last year, 68% of all bankruptcies were directly related to medical bills.
No.
Now, would you believe that the craziest thing is that 78% of those people had some form of health insurance?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you can have the best medical insurance in the world where you have nothing out of pocket, but would you agree with me, Charles, that 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Say you have best health insurance, no out of pocket. You're in an accident and you're off for 2 months. How many people can maintain their same lifestyle with no paycheck?
Well, not that many of them.
Probably not that many, right? So we insure our cars, homes, life, and everything else in this entire world, but the most important asset we have as working Americans is our paycheck, correct?
Yeah.
That's what we want to do, is help your employees. We want to help the employees not become one of these stats. 42% of all Americans say they don't have any life insurance or don't have enough. 1 out of 2 men and women will be diagnosed with some type of cancer and critical illness. And those are some of the type of policies that some of the different individual needs that all those people have, that it's blatantly out there. And so we want to help provide those solutions. Some of those solutions are our insurance products we offer to the employees on a payroll basis. They pay for it 100%, but the business owner will payroll deducted. So every one of our policies pays you cash direct. So one of our solutions is our hospital confinement policy. This helps cover the gaps in the deductibles. As major medical deductibles get bigger, this helps cover that gap.
Okay.
Accident insurance will pay you some sort of payment for every single type of accident you can possibly imagine you'll have. Then we have a disability insurance. This covers your paycheck from 0 months up to 2 years, whatever you choose. Cancer insurance will pay you mileage, you and your spouse mileage back and forth, lodging, every day you're in the hospital, every chemo treatment, every type of treatment you exceed pays you out every single type you imagine. Our critical illness goes from $5,000 to $75,000. So if you have a $50,000 policy and you have a heart attack, Charles, you're going to get a $50,000 check. And then our life insurance, we have term, universal, and whole. Remember, like I said, every single one of our policies pays you cash direct. So you can do what you need to with it, Charles, to take care of your bills and cover your family whenever they need it. Make sense? So when you talked about earlier, you want to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
When you get a phone call like I got from a lady who was paying $32 a month and her husband fell off the roof, and she calls crying because she got a $19,000 check from Colonial Life, and she could not believe how a $32 a month policy could pay that kind of money. And she called because she wanted to become an agent with Colonial Life. Tell me how many people are going to tell her no.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So all we ask from the business owner is if 3 or more of your employees would like to take advantage of these products, will you payroll deduct and remit the payment at the end of the month? Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Is that a very difficult sell?
Not really.
Not that bad, is it?
No.
That's what we're looking for, is somebody to work that bill with the business owner, report on that relationship. The benefit counselors will come in and sell the insurance for the employees, get the sale done, and then work that relationship. That's their account, the account manager's account, and they work that deal. Make sense?
It does.
You got any questions for me on that so far?
Just leads. Where did leads come from?
That's a great question. One of the best things is our systems that we have. When you talk about the team environment, we have a whole team of people here that you don't have to worry about in that. We walk you step by step every process. We're going to provide you leads. We're going to show you how to pull them up, how to get after them, and we're going to teach you 2 or 3 different systems of gaining some leads as well. Like I said, every system we teach is not just something we just made up. It's been working for a long time.
Okay.
And we're going to show it to you step by step. We're not going to throw you out to figure it out. You're going to come in and you're going to get handheld step by step till you're comfortable doing it. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, would you think that money may be a little bit important, huh?
Money's important.
So let me show you a little bit of how you make some money, Charles.
Okay.
I want you to take a look at that right there.
Sure.
Okay. Now, here's the deal. Yeah. Now, when you take a look at that, Charles, the deal is if you look down that schedule, it says CAA, right?
Right.
Every single product pays a different commission, correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so now don't worry about that. That's if you've worked with a broker, and we'll worry about that later on in the future. The CAA is what you're going to do. If you write up beside that 25%, because you're basically going to average 25%, okay?
Okay.
So I want to do an illustration with you. Is if you open up 5 new cases in your first quarter. It's not an outrageous number. Just 5 in 3 months. It's really not crazy, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to do an illustration. Is that each of these wrote $10,000 in premium. And to give you an illustration of what it is, I've had a 13-man body shop do $14,000 in premium. I've had a 30-man dental do $6,000. But I can promise you, Charles, and almost guarantee you that after 5 cases, it will all average around $10,000.
Okay.
My numbers have been the same for a long time, okay?
All right.
So if each of these are $10,000, okay. So you open up your first case, Charles, you do $10,000 in premium. How much commission do you make?
You make 25%.
So it'll be $2,500, right?
Yeah.
What Colonial Life does is they're going to advance you 9 months of your commission up front, basically. Okay?
Okay.
It's right around 9 months is basically what they'll do. They're doing that. They're going to put the rest in the bucket to help save you from chargebacks from people that leave. And then you'll get the rest of your money months 9, 10, 11, 12, on around to 13 forever. Make
Okay.
sense?
Makes sense.
So if you do that and it submits it by Friday at 4 p.m., you're actually going to get $1,625 deposited into your bank account in this illustration.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, turn that card over, look to the top. What does that say? It says year-to-date new account bonus, correct?
It does.
All right, so in this scenario, well, it says there how many cases you got to get to for it to open.
3 to 4.
Okay, so once you get to your 3rd case of the year, you're in a bonus all year long.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take, for instance, this scenario. When you open up your 3rd account, how much premium have you written so far?
30,000.
30,000. What is the bonus at 3?
4%.
You're going to get a 4% bonus on all 30,000, Charles.
Wow.
So once you open up that 3rd case, you're going to get 4% on all 30,000. So you're going to get another $1,200 bonus as soon as you open that up, just from that bonus. Now you're in a bonus all year long, Charles. So it says 3 to 4. You open up your 4th case, 10,000 in premium. 4% of 10,000 is
$400.
400, right? Next, where's case 5? Where does it go to?
It goes to 5%.
That 1% difference Colonial Life hasn't paid you, Charles, they're going to retro that back on everything. So right here, you're going to get 1% on all 40,000.
That's another $500.
Plus 5% on 10,000 is 500. You're going to get $900 right there.
Wow.
Now, go down that list, Charles. Every time it steps up, it goes all the way to the beginning. Can you imagine how big that bonus gets at the end of the year?
Wow, yeah.
Not too bad, huh?
Not too bad.
All right. Now, look down below it. It says quarter to date new account bonus, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This works the exact same way, however, it starts over every quarter instead of every year. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, in this scenario, you've opened up 5 cases, correct?
Correct.
So, if you open up 5 cases in a quarter, how much would your bonus percentage be?
3%.
Okay. How much premium did you write in this scenario?
50,000.
So 3% on all 50,000. So you're going to get another $1,500 bonus quarter to date just for the quarter to date bonus. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. Now, what else Colonial Life's going to do? They say, Charles, we know it's difficult in your first 12 months. You got a learning curve to find. It's sales. You got to get them going, right?
Right.
So we're going to pay you more money. You open up $5,000 in premium, they're going to give you $200. Okay. Once you get to $10,000 in your $10,000 in premium, they're going to give you another $300. Now, you do $10,000 in your first 90 days, which that's what this scenario would show, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give you another $500 on top of it.
Wow.
And in the scenario, that's basically on your first case, $1,000 on top of your commission. Not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
Now they're going to give you an 8% bonus on every bit of premium you do from there on out to your first $100,000 or your first year as an agent. So in this scenario, 8% of 10,000 is what?
$800.
8%? 8%? 8%? Not too bad, is it?
Wow.
Because they say, we know it's tough, so we want to pay you more money, Charles. We're going to give you a lot more up front. Now, you get your commission paid every single week. Every Wednesday.
Okay.
You get your year-to-date bonus paid at the end of every single month. Okay?
Okay.
You get your quarter-to-date check paid at the end of every single quarter. You get your new rep bonus paid every week after you got paid your commission check. Now, why does it scatter out like this? I don't know if Colonial Life meant to do this, but I like to think they did. I call it slump buster comp. Okay? Now, let me ask you a question. Sales is inconsistent. That's what people say, correct?
Correct.
This comp is set up to where if you have bad months, you can still be getting big checks. So you have a great May, right? And June kind of falls through, but you have a big year-to-date check coming through, right? Or some of your stuff. It keeps a more consistent pay for you.
Okay.
Not too bad, right?
No, not at all.
And the best part is you've got an average of 5% residuals, which is what we're in this business for, is to make money while we sleep, right?
Absolutely.
And you make 5% on everything that stays on the books and after your first year. Not too bad, huh?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you think you could get used to making that kind of money?
I can fight through it.
All right. So, Charles, do you understand how you get paid?
Well, it's a little confusing, but yeah, I think I've got a pretty good idea of it.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, Charles. Do you feel like this is something that you could do?
I think I could.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, do you feel like this is something you would love to do?
Maybe. It's one of those things that you want to get into and see a little bit more, but on the surface, I don't see anything that I have an objection about.
You feel like this is something you get passionate and love on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're getting phone calls like what you said with the lady that got the $39,000 or whatever that was, and I mean, that's the kind of thing that really gets you pumped, really gets you going.
Absolutely. Well, and like I talked to you about earlier, Charles, we focus on team environment. We have an office that you actually get to come work into that we don't nickel and dime you to death on, okay? You get it for free. We have Monday morning meetings where we get people pumped up. We do trainings. We walk everybody step by step that we bring in. We invest a lot of time in new people. We don't just throw them out there. We have a system in place, and it's worked for a long time, okay? So we're very particular about who we bring in because we also have a very good name. And that's because we only pick the right people to come in. We don't just hire anybody who can walk and talk and chew gum, okay?
Okay.
I'm only hiring about 2 people, and I'm going to interview 7 to probably 11 different people. You're one of them, okay?
Okay.
So before I make my decision, Charles, if you're in the room and I'm interviewing 10 people, and I'm going to pick 2 of them, why am I going to choose Charles out of one of them?
Well, I think that's a no-brainer. I work harder than anybody else you're going to talk to. I can get in front of people and talk to business owners and, if I feel passionate about it, which this I seem to so far at least, I can express that passion. I can do what it takes to get the sale closed within the ethics and the boundaries that are there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's absolutely no way I could not do this.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to make a decision by the end of the week, Charles,
Okay.
and I'll let you know by the end of the week whether or not you'll be one of them selected to come on board or not.
Okay?
Sound good?
Sounds fair.
Thanks, Charles.
I appreciate it.
Okay, we're on.
Okay, guys, when you do an interview, let me explain what the different parts of importance that I find out is. Okay, obviously is the warm-up. Next is the story. Next is what we do, WWD. Comp and close. Warm up. What's important in the warm up is very simple. Ask them about their past, why they left, which positions they left, why they left it, why they didn't stay, etc. Like in the DM presentation, this is building up your ammunition for them. You're asking questions. You know where you're going to tailor what we do best and what we don't do, etc. Correct? And I'm asking them what is important. I always ask those three things. Give me what's most important in your career to make you happy. What's most important that you cannot do because it will not make you happy, because you need to kind of figure it out right then and there. Make sense? And then we're on the story. I had a friend of mine once tell me that if you're having problems recruiting, your story sucks. And that's the truth. The most important part of this whole recruiting process is this story. You need to get your story down. How don't lie about it. If you lie about it, they can tell. But you need to tell your story. People don't tell their stories enough. The story is the most important part of every interview you will ever do. If you get your story down and you tell it, I'm talking about tell where you come from, tell where you are. Remember, perception is reality. They do not know you. They're coming to work at a 100% commission job, following somebody they have no idea what they're doing. You need to tell them who you are. Okay? The story is your most important part. Then what we do. Don't get into all the communication enrollment strategy stuff we do, because it can confuse them. The number one problem that I see with a lot of people not coming on board, because what we do sounds confusing. It was very simple. My good buddy Scott Winry, me and him learned the DM presentation by recruiting, because I do the exact same thing in recruiting that I do as a business owner, and when we recruited enough people, we got really good at the DM presentation, vice versa. But it's a great way to show this prospective person exactly what we're looking for, to build the need in what we have, what we do, so they can see the need that, wow, this is a need, I would want to buy this, so then again, they might want to sell it. Next is comp. What's important in comp is giving them the pocket prompter and laying it out like I do, and doing the drawing back. Now, here's another part that's really important with the comp. Ask them questions, get them to tell you. When I say in this scenario, number 1 through 3, how much premium have you written? Ask them the question, because they're usually off base, and they're usually going to try to say, add up the commission dollars when you're talking about premium. Why is that important? Ask them questions to tell you what they're looking at. Again, if they're confused, they won't come on board. If it sounds confusing on how to make money, why the heck would you want to go work there, right? So, ask the questions, get them to tell you, so they're actually grasping it, because it's very important. And then the close. I always end the interview with these three things. Number 1 is, Charles, do you feel like this is something you can do? I want to know, is this something you can do? Do you feel like this is something you would love to do? And third of all, the very last thing when I end that interview is very simple. I'm only hiring 2 people. If I'm interviewing X amount, Charles, if you're in that room with all those people, why am I choosing you? Let me tell you what this does when you're in that interview. If you've got somebody we're competitive by nature, right? So no matter what you do, if you have somebody who's not sure if they're interested in this or not, but you ask that question, they're still going to sell themselves on you. Let me tell you what that does psychologically. It makes them want it even more. When I went out to North Florida the first time in the recruiter, and we sat down to do the interview, and I let the person leave, told them I'd call them back, she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? We don't do that. If you got somebody less here, you get them contracted, because we're trying to get the contracts. I said, trust me, they'll call you back. We can get done with that day. We had 4 interviews. 2 people emailed begging for the job. Let me tell you the second difference about ending it like that and giving them enough to want to be a part of your team, but not feeling like it's for everybody, is that psychology, when that person walks in your door Monday morning to go to work, they don't walk in going, okay, what are you going to do for me? They walk in, I got to prove why they chose me. I promise you, if you end it like that, the psychology alone of what they feel and how they want that job, because the competitor inside is always going to be wanting it. Now, and everything I talk about in the interview, I do want to hit on this one thing before we go. I got to overemphasize this. Your story is the interview. That's all that matters. The story is by far the most important part of it all. You have to tell your story. They have to know who you are, and you got to believe it. Tell your story. They need to know you. Then they will buy into that. Thanks, and I hope you have a little bit more success in recruiting. Thanks, guys.